of evidence. I'm bringing in witnesses inside the presidential election tribunal. You don't end though. Now yesterday it ended. So on the 3rd of July, the respondents, which are the people where they carry go court, will be APC, INEC, and Tinubu. They will call respond to the allegations. Levied against them, I'll be leveled. Is it levied or leveled? Okay, leveled against them. Leveled against them by Labour Party, PDP, and the rest of them. Or they hear me? Here. So, now that level, all of us, they look forward to now. So, now we hear say, they bring one evidence. They bring one witness. Come they cross-examine them. That stage, we don't cross them. Or now they hear me? Here. He get waiting the counsel to Peter Obi and the Labour Party. He get waiting them talk where I won't carry come show one small for this place so that when I go understand where these people they come from. Their lead counsel what did they do my throat? Their lead counsel will be Livy Ozuku Livy Ozuku 9 days screen. Him carry a man come address the press. And he gets some kindness where he talk, which sweets me. I beg, I won't make you help me listen to this guy. You get what he talk? We will come back. We'll go analyze what he talk. Watch this video.
Well, we thank God that we came this far. We have closed our case. So the ball now is in the court of the respondents, that is to say INEC, Bola Tinubu, and then his deputy Shetima, and of course APC. I can assure you that we are ready for their defense, very, very ready for them to open their case on the 3rd of July. And we'll take it up from there.
So are you pleased with the witnesses called and the documents tendered and the whole long jump on INEC?
I am pleased with our presentation of our case. Certainly, you don't expect me to be pleased with the conduct of INEC, which is now in the public domain. But that notwithstanding, we still made impressive presentation. There is one fact that can never be denied, that can never ever be denied, and that is to say, we tendered blood ballot papers 18,088. Throughout the course of their cross-examination, there was nowhere they ever challenged those 18,088 blood results. And you know what 18,088, what they mean? You are talking about millions of voters who were denied the opportunity of Nigerians, the candidates, having their votes. You know, they voted. Their votes did not count. On that score alone, INEC should have a sleepless night. On that score alone, that 18,088 results were blood. And that is not all. That is not all. We applied to INEC for CTC, certified true copies of results. And INEC gave us certified true copies of results that are not only blood, but results that contain, instead of results, the images of vehicles, human beings, and the rest of them. I mean, and mutilations. I've never seen a thing like that. Instead of results, you find images of human beings, houses, and so many other things. But let's wait for them to open their respective cases. So we'll see what happens.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
If I believe, Levi Uzuku, talk inside that video you just watched and say, look, we are satisfied with what we have done. The documents we have tendered, the witnesses that have, come to court to testify against INEC, APC, and Tinubu, they have all done well for the Labour Party. But say, it get one particular thing what happen as they tender evidence, they call it witnesses, and the respondents will be Labour, APC, INEC, and Tinubu. They never truly answer that particular thing. No, even I say the thing lost them. They're not even near them. They don't commit crime. He said, look, they tender inside this court, see, 18,088 result sheets where INEC upload for their server. Say it dey blood. You cannot read anything inside. Say some now pictures of human being, pictures of cars, pictures of houses. Now INEC upload as a result for their server. Okay, so now car and human being, pictures of car and human being. Now I use computer and result. And inside that 18,088 result, we come from 18,088 polling units. Say now millions of voters they inside that can make a difference in this last election. Of course, now no say Tinubu gets how many votes? 8 points. 8.6 million votes. Atiku gets 6.9. Peter Obi gets 6.1. So when we say millions of votes that we are supposed to be captured in 18,088 polling units, we are all blood. No be child, so it can make a difference. Share now pictures of human beings and pictures of houses. Then they use arrange the result. Go call who win election. Okay, so now why they call that? Now why they declare Tinubu the president of Nigeria by 4 a.m. that has never happened before since the history of this country, when people they sleep. Well, that's the reason why they call that why they declare Tinubu president by that odd hour of the day. Well, I don't hear them now. No wahala. On the 3rd of July, they will come respond to all the allegations, all the documents tendered, all the evidence that Labour Party and PDP they have all tendered against. They will start to respond to them, and then the people who carry the court will still address their response. Then finally, the judges who they in charge go come declare or give their verdict on this case. Now where we dey now? E get another thing I want carry come on the month. E get one video I watch. I don't know whether make I dey cry for Africa or make I dey happy say I be an African man. That video touched me. It touched my nipple. Yeah, it touched my nipple. And the video just kept me wondering for a very, very long time. Of course, all of them say the world leaders are having their summit in Paris, France. Of course, yeah. Our own president even did there. All of them did there. President of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa. Now you name that. See for your screen. You get some kind of things where this guy talk. I won't cry for Africa. I no won't talk too much. Help me watch with this president, Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa. Help me hear what him talk inside this summit, World Leaders Summit, where they happen as they talk for Paris. Help me listen to what this guy talk. Then we will come back. He get one thing I supposed to tell on. He gets one analysis where I suppose na can now on, so na go understand where me they come from. I beg, help me watch the president of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa. Ngwano, watch.
I do, Mr. President Macron, want us to address another issue which to us is a bit of a negative. You will have heard President Sisi talking about the 100 billion that was promised in Paris. President Sassou Nguesso yesterday as well also spoke about it at the dinner. Now, there is that issue that a number of the commitments that have been made have not really been fully lived up to. But before I get into details, let me immediately say that we recognize the many initiatives that have been put on the table, and a number of countries here have done so. Germany has gone out of the way to put a number of initiatives, and the US has also done a number of things. But there have been times when we felt like we were beggars. I played a key role as chair of the African Union during the COVID period. We felt like we were beggars when it came to vaccine availability, when we felt we needed access to vaccines, and the Northern Hemisphere countries had bought all the vaccines in the world, and they were hogging them. And they didn't want to release them at the time when we needed them most. And we felt like we were begging. And at times it felt like they would just be droppings from the table, that yes, we will give you that and that. And let me tell you something that generated a lot of resentment. We resented that, and it got worse when we said we want to manufacture our own vaccines. And when we went to the WTO, there was a lot of resistance, enormous resistance. And we kept saying, what is more important, life or profits by your big pharmaceutical companies? And that too, I must tell you now, generated and deepened that disappointment and resentment on our part, because we felt like life in the Northern Hemisphere is much more important than life in the global South. And these are issues that need to be addressed. And I'm glad that we are all seated here like this, because we've got to get to the heart of these matters and address them. Now, I come to promises that have been made. And Chancellor Scholz was saying, we've got to walk the talk. Yes, we want to see the talk being walked. President Sassou Nguesso yesterday said at the dinner, $100 billion was promised per year. And he was saying, I've never seen that. And many of us will testify that $100 billion has never really been made available. And this should stand out as something that needs to be addressed. Because sometimes we sit at conferences like this and say, yes, we'll make this available, and we believe you. We believe you, but now the tire must hit the tar. We must now see action flowing from that. Now, I want to then talk about something very practical. President Sassou Nguesso raised it yesterday. He said he would be happy if flowing from this summit, we do something very practical on the infrastructure side. Having said that 600 million people in Africa do not have electricity, and yet we've got all the resources to generate electricity, particularly the mighty Congo River. And that there have been plans to build a number of power stations that will generate, in my calculation, up to 70,000 megawatts. And he said, and I want to speak in support of this proposal, that to prove that these summits are not summits where we just talk. Flowing from the Paris COP as well as others, let us now put money on the table and collectively say we are going to address this mega project. A mega project which will in the end generate electricity for up to 12, 15 African countries all at one go. And this is a project that I think the multilateral development banks here working together, the call that you've made, President Macron, can actually fund. And where, as we rise from this, we should be able to say the Inga Dam is now going to be developed into the Inga Power Station, the one that President Sassou Nguesso mentioned, and the next one as well. If we can do that, then we as Africans will now be convinced that these summits are really meaningful. We will now go home and say, you know what, it's worthwhile going to these summits, coming to Europe, and to listen to all the promises because they are willing to act on the promises.
I won't cry for that video. When I hear what him talk, say, look, this is time to do the talk. Not all the time we are talking. $100 billion, according to him, maybe in their last meeting, they apportioned for Africa. I think the main reason why they get all this summit and say, make world leaders come together and help themselves. They will bring their resources and everything and then apportion it to areas where it's supposed to go to help humanity. Now they apportion $100 billion for Africa. Where the money there? It never reach us. Now waiting, Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa, they complain. Say, look, you guys apportion this money to help infrastructure in Africa. But we will not do them. Now we are here in another summit, and another promises will be made, and our own will believe them. So you people are making Africa to look like beggars, whereas we are not beggars. We will not be beggars. He can't even give instance. Say during the COVID-19, say he was the co-chair, I be the chair of the African Union. I think so. That was what he said in that video. Say, look, the way the Western world treat Africa, say it is not good. It don't make sense. Say it can't be like say the Northern Hemisphere, Europe and the rest of them, they are more important than the rest of us living in other parts of the world. Common vaccine, they don't give us vaccine. They hoard them. They hoard vaccine. We say, okay, as I don't hold the vaccine, I don't want to give them Africa because our life does not matter. Now only on our life matter. Make we do our own. Make we manufacture our own vaccine. They come meet, that's African leader. They come meet a WTO, World Trade Organization, for assistance. They turn them down. It never is time for Africa to wise up. It's time for us to wise up. Who no one help you? No one help you. You help yourself. We have African Union. We have ECOWAS. We have these African unions, and we cannot help ourselves. We are dependent on world leaders coming together and helping themselves. Whereas it's very, very clear that you people have been sidelined. They don't sideline Africa, keep one side. Now only themselves did they help. Let us wisen up. If you are looking at these people, you call them Northern Hemisphere, they will not help you. We have all it takes in Africa. What will they find now? We don't get for Africa. Only West Africa alone, the crude oil you waiting for West Africa alone is enough. Plus other minerals that you can find other places. South Africa have good. Ghana have good. Is it Cameroon? We have all it takes. Come together. Love yourself if they don't love you. Love yourself and build your infrastructures. You are talking about electricity. You want to generate 70,000 megawatts of electricity with the money what they promise you, what they never give you. That will benefit 12 to 15 African countries. And you the reason I'm saying these people, this Northern Hemisphere, the Western world, will help you actualize this dream. They want you to forever remain a slave to them. How about now? You don't know. Some of them even believe say cars no day for Africa, houses no day for Africa. Say we dey waka naked for Africa. Say now live we use the dress ourselves. Some of them don't even believe say we dey brush our mouth with toothpaste and brush. Now the kind way won't make God help you. It's not possible now. It is time for Africa to help themselves. I was looking forward when I was watching the video to see my own president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I'm sure myself for the video. He lost for back. I know here now. He never. I don't know whether I don't talk, but I never seen video or waiting him gas talk. You understand? Ramaphosa, leader will get sense. He spoke up for Africa, whereas the president of the giant of Africa did the meeting. The president of the giant of Africa did the meeting. Another person I call the table African matter they give the world. Africa, it is time to wisen up. There is no other time to wisen up if not now. If you are looking for these people, nothing goes up. Their own is just selfish interest. Come, bring your oil, go, better their lives. That is it. Una dey hear me? So, who know what help you? Know what help you? Help yourself. We have EU. We have ECOWAS. We have other African unions. Let us come together and help ourselves. We can help ourselves. That $100 billion, forget them, you don't go. If another Ebola or COVID-19 break out today, they go see how the vaccine, they don't go give you. You are not important. Your life does not matter. Una dey hear me? Thank God, say our eyes on the clear small. So, fellow Nigerians and fellow Africans, I beg, I don't want to talk too much. I go say Una later. I beg. If you like this update, subscribe to my channel. I beg. Biko, Ejo, Da Allah. Subscribe.